Alright, so I have practiced this game a little bit, but it's still very, very hard for someone of my skill level with shooters. It's very much to take on. But I was able to get to the 4th level, I think, or at least the end of the 3rd level during practice. What I did not practice was playing with an arcade stick, which is what I'm going to be doing today. So we'll see. If that's really rough and I do a lot worse somehow, I'll switch it over. But I don't think it'll make really any difference, and it sounded fun, so why not, right? Battle Garegga is kind of the game that Rising's famous for. It's their intense shmup with the kind of a, that futuristic World War II theme that seems so common in these types of shooters from this era, like a Strikers game or something. But it has pretty standard rules as far as its regular gameplay goes. There's 3 power-ups. There's the bomb icons, which you pick up like medals, but they charge up, and then once you have one, it gets full enough for you to drop a bomb. So it's like a piecemeal system for getting bombs instead of one big one. Then you've got these exclamation points that are inside circles. Those are your main weapon power-up for your cannon, and then you've got these green chevrons that come out, and when you pick them up, you'll get your add-on ships. It's a 3-button game. It has turbo fire by default, which is so good. This is the way every shooter should be. Thank you for stepping into the modern era, Rising, and not making me hammer on a button or map a turbo button to not hammer on a button. And then it has the bomb button that I mentioned, and then there's a button to reconfigure how your satellites are. There's several options for that, and it actually is worth changing in certain spots. Although I typically use this kind of spread pattern like this. Sometimes I concentrate forward. There's probably a spot where this rear shot's really useful, but I don't know where. There's one where it circles you, and there's one where it chases stuff. I think you can basically get one special pattern per ship. There's 4 different ships, and their main weapons are a little bit different. The balance of main weapon power to their speed, I think, is the main thing. And so that's the ships aren't as varied as a lot of games, but there's some options there. Anyway, here we go. I'll give it a shot and see how it goes with an arcade stick. This is Battle Garegga. I want to be honest with you on this one, and the arcade stick is not enhancing my experience, and I do feel like it's handicapping me. So I think I am going to switch back. Just thought I'd give it a shot, though, at least. Give it a second here, and I'll be right back with my regular control scheme. We'll see how it goes. I tell you what, not a day goes by I don't try to plug a USB cable into that display port hole. I've shoved that in there so many times. I wonder if the display port hole works at all. I don't use it, so whatever. I like how as soon as I plug in a controller, it tells me to get game bars. If I didn't rip that out, as if I didn't go out of my way to edit my registry to remove that garbage. Come on. Leave me alone with that crap. Now, even that didn't work. I now use a program called hide, which stops it from reading. Basically, I've blacklisted Explorer from reading the input. That's how far I had to go with it. Fortunately, I did do a save state here because the post on that game is extremely long. We'd still be waiting on that otherwise. But no, time to party. Yeah, I didn't see what hit me, but that's the common refrain in this game. That was a decent run for me. Not the best I've ever done, certainly score-wise, or in terms of getting through the game. I can't remember if I've beaten the third level or not. I think maybe I have. My high score is like 700 something thousand during practice, but that was still a pretty good run. And this used to be like the very best of my runs, but now I can kind of consistently get this, or at least a little more I was during practice, and I can maybe make it about this far when I don't screw something up. And then when I do screw something up, it's more like in dying early in the second level, if anything, like you saw earlier. Not so great that time. I was kind of in between. I would have gotten a competitive score if I could have just gotten through the boss. Really not used to dying to red shots because my shots penetrate those. So pretty surprised by that. In fact, what you normally need to do during the red shot spray is stay directly in front of it and fire down on it. It's always worked for me before. And then when it pops up its little turret and fires missiles back at you, that's when you get off center. But being in that off center position where I was has always worked for me before too. I don't know why I died there. It's really odd. I'll take a quick break and I'll be right back. Here we go, some more Battle Garegga. I could have swore I had streamed Battle Garegga, this game's sequel, before, like a long time ago on Twitch, but I mostly judge these things by whether or not I have the marquee art saved, because I don't have like some big package of that. I just download it as I need it. And yeah, I didn't see anything in there, so I guess I have never done Battle Garegga either. I'll do that. I'll make sure to rectify that in the near future. Not next week, however. I only do one shooter per week, and ZPF just came out on Sega Genesis. I had almost forgotten about it until just now, so we'll be checking out ZPF next weekend. I just felt cursed that time. It's crazy. I think I mentioned before how if you have like a good emulation setup, you don't really like to play like a lot. Like I have to almost test out or trust the specific developer involved to play like an emulation package or something. Because otherwise, I'd probably just rather play my own setup. It's probably gonna be better in noticeable ways with like screen scaling and formatting and all that. Um, that also kind of applies to ports. It's a sad thing because the Saturn has such amazing arcade ports. And one real advantage of playing this on the Saturn is that there's an option to make those bullets like red or something, so you can actually see them. But I mean, it has a lot of disadvantages too. Like it's got less detail and screen formatting issues due to lower resolution and having less animation and less memory. So it's like playing a Saturn version of something usually feels like slumming it compared to just playing in MAME or Final Burn Neo. But yeah, I sure would like to have those red bullets. Somebody make an arcade ROM hack. That'd be the perfect solution. Wait, is this the ship I just did? Oh well, whatever. So that's that ranking system of work that I was talking about. Like that's the absolute hardest version of that boss I've ever fought. I don't know what was going on there. Like that's a much more had a fourth or fifth phase even. That's not normally there. So that's some wild stuff. Normally it comes out, it has the big circles, it doesn't shoot everywhere. If you're ranked up, it'll sometimes do the big laser thing, which it actually didn't do, the big blue shock thing. Fortunately, it did not do that crap. But then, after destroying the little circles, it has this other phase with these yellow balls and shit. What's all that? I've never seen any of that before. Ugh. Alright. Alright, I'm not recalling this correctly. This is as far as I've been. This is exactly as far as I've been. When I died here before, the farthest I'd been, I had 500 and something thousand points, actually. The time I got 760,000 points or something, that was like freakish. I had done really well in the first level too that time. I got like, I don't know, I think I had like 300,000 points just exiting the first level, or maybe even 400,000. I did a lot better early on, and then it just added up to a much higher score than normal. I don't really know the ins and outs of all the scoring strategy, probably. Terrible run, which is what always happens after a high scoring run. Almost the law. Back in just a second. Hey, don't need to break 2 controllers now. I have to replace my DualSense tomorrow. It is finally crapped out on me. I'll be right back. I was just thinking, I got 4 years out of my DualSense controller I use for my PS5. About 4 or 5 years out of it, I think. That's pretty good, right? I'm really not that hard on my controllers. I treat them pretty well. And that's crazy, because I play a lot of racing games, which I think are probably some of the hardest on controllers. A lot of holding a trigger. There's things that are worse, though, like holding L3 or R3 for prolonged periods in games. Those should always be clicks. Modern FPS developers seem to understand this and seem to usually make it just a click to toggle kind of thing for sprint. But that used to be what always wore down DualShock 4s though for me, was if I was clicking and holding in L3 to run on like Battlefield or something. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna give this another whirl on this DualSense is still barely, or this DualShock 4 is still barely hanging in there, so let's give it another go. So that is not the first I've made it. Again, not my high score. And during practice, but my high score during this run, yeah, very solid. Getting a little more consistent with this. And the ranking in this game, it's just like, I'm just like, oh man, there's a did good getting to this boss. Oh no, I did good getting to this boss. Now it's like a new, shittier version of the boss. That was way, like a whole extra phase, more or less. And a bunch of extra worse attacks. What a terrible run that was. I will say I really like the fourth ship's targeted shot, but it was actually so effective that it cranked the rank. That's again the problem. If I could get all the satellites right before the boss, maybe it wouldn't be such a terrible situation, but the satellites clear the level also. And also, if you switch away from the whatever their custom formation is like that, you don't get it back, from what I can tell. Because I can keep mashing the C button over and over again, the third button, button 3, and it'll cycle through everything but whatever the one that's unique to the ship. So, anyway, let me take a quick break here, and I'll be right back. This game's a little tricky for me to rate, but I'd probably say it's an 8 out of 10. And I think it's one of those games where if you're like really good at shooters, you probably rate it higher, and if you're really bad at them, you rate it a lot lower. Like, people who have not played shooters, this would be the worst game to try and learn how to play shooters off of. It's just not solid for that. Excuse me, maybe not the absolute worst, but not a good one to start with. It's a great game, don't get me wrong, but like, you would kind of think it was like some troll type thing, like Silver Surfer on Nintendo, where it's just like unreasonably difficult, but it's not. You just have to really, really pay attention to where the enemy shots are, and then you see it's kind of a regular shooter. But like people that are really skilled at it probably really like the way like the difficulty just keeps ramping up as you get good at it, as you get better at dodging things. You're getting like a harder version of it. And I assume that this requires what I call a kaboom strategy, because Kaboom's the oldest game I know of that has this, and it's an Atari 2600 game from like 1980, so or 81, who knows, 82. It's old. Where basically, since it's constantly going up in difficulty, you have to earn enough points to get an extra man, and then you have to die. You have to earn a life and lose a life over and over again to keep the difficulty in stasis instead of letting it get completely unreasonable. But I don't know, it may not be quite like that. But yeah, you have to keep earning 1,000,000 points from that point to earn lives and then die, and that's like, I've never reached 1,000,000 points. So that's pretty wild. Anyway, here we go with some more Battle Garegga. Oh yeah, and I have to use the high score ticker because, as you see, I haven't broken 1,000,000. But I'm going to start using that more anyway. I think it's good use of the space on the screen. So here we go. couldn't get away. Man, that was a terrible run. And really, I think that ship goes too slow. Like, I really don't. I think the second ship is the one I'm not as into. If you like shooters, be sure and check out next weekend. Also, I'll be playing ZPF for the Sega Genesis or Mega Drive 16-bit video game console. It's brand new. It just came out like a month ago or something. And I've been excited to look at it. I had forgotten about it until recently, and I was like, oh, I want to do this stream so I can start practicing on it at least. It looks like it's going to be really cool, though. And it'll be interesting to see how it stacks up against last year's Genesis and Mega Drive shooter, Eartheon, which I streamed, and that's a really cool game. I liked that one a lot, so... I've said it a million times already, but I did not see that. Not until it was way too late. I think it's safe to say I need to rest my eyes because I'm not seeing some small stuff here at all. Like even a little bit until it's way too late. I'll be back in just a second. Alright, here we go. Let's do a little bit more of this. Maybe. I've just been running through once with each ship, and I'll probably do that once or twice more here. Let's see if we can finally beat that high score. You know, I suppose at some point I could have ever actually looked to see how rank is determined in this game and what exactly cranks things up so much. Is it having bombs? Is it getting some other type of power up? What are they really gauging it off of? Time passed, bullets fired, items collected, and special weapons deployed. So it constantly goes up by survival and by shooting. Oh, which means you shouldn't shoot when there's nothing on the screen. Is there ever nothing on the screen in this damn game? Does that even happen? Getting options significantly increases the rank, but also your firepower, so, you know, it's probably necessary for scoring reasons. What is stealing bullets? Yeah, this does use Kaboom strategy of dying strategically to lower your rank, but that, again, you'd have to be earning 1,000,000 points at a time for that to matter. And it's not happening around here, not right now. Yeah, this second ship has really been just the worst. It's too slow. Why is the one called the Grasshopper, like, the slowest ship? You think the Snail would be slower, but no. I don't think it is. Now that I understand the strategy of the game, I'm a lot worse at it, probably because I'm taking some sort of risk that shouldn't be. In exchange for making the game easier, I'm doing things that make the game harder. That's rough too. I'm getting dramatically worse at this every time I play it, so that's probably a good sign that I should wrap it up, right? Didn't beat my high score from practice, which was like 760,000 something, but not bad with 628, 810. I've definitely had worse runs at stuff. This is a game that aggressively tries to stop you from getting better at it, though. The ranking thing and then the speed at which they crank that up, and my efforts to try and play against it instead of just playing like normal proved to be even worse. So basically, it's just, yeah, it's made to be very, very challenging. Not like the hardest shooter I've ever played or anything, but very frustrating in its design in ways that a lot of shooters aren't. Which I think for people who've played a lot of these, that's what'll keep you coming back. I guess, I don't know if people really prefer this to its sequel, Battle Back Raid, but I never hear anyone talk about that game ever. And I think it's a cool game, so I don't know which one I like better. I'll have to give it another go, but I'll stream it here in a couple weeks probably. Like I said, we're doing ZPF next week, which is a new game for the Sega Genesis and Mega Drive, and I don't do 2 shooters at a time. It's just going to frustrate me even more. So the other game is going to be Darkstalkers 3 Vampire Savior. But coming up this weekend, since I knew I needed to pair something light and fuzzy with something as hard as this, I'll be playing Mario Kart Super Circuit for the Game Boy Advance. So that should be pretty fun. And it will eventually frustrate me as well, because I'm not good at Mario Kart, but it starts off slow, and that's nice. Anyway, everybody have a good weekend.